Why is a $4 box of Arm & Hammer Super Washing Soda outperforming $22 bags of commercial Deer mineral on trail camera after trail camera across 3 states? Because the active compound in that box, sodium carbonate, chemical formula Na2CO3, does something to soil that no commercial Deer attractant can replicate. It does not add minerals to the dirt. It strips the minerals that are already locked inside the dirt and makes them available to every deer that walks over the treated ground. A 5.5-ounce box of super washing soda costs $4 at Walmart. It contains enough sodium carbonate for roughly 30 to 40 individual applications across 2 full hunting seasons. A 5-pound bag of Evolved Habitat's deer cane costs $15 and provides 3 to 4 applications. A bag of Wild Game Innovations mineral block runs $12. Seamere Deer runs $20 per jug. Over 5 seasons, the washing soda costs roughly $10 total. The commercial equivalents cost $150 to $400, depending on brand and refresh rate. I need to address the legal side before we go any further. Placing mineral supplements on the ground for the purpose of attracting deer is classified as baiting in roughly 25 states. That includes any product, commercial or homemade, that delivers sodium, calcium, phosphorus, or trace minerals to a site where deer consume or lick the treated soil. If your state bans mineral-based baiting, this product falls under that restriction the same way a commercial mineral block does. Check your state regulations before using this or any mineral product. In states where mineral supplementation is legal year-round but prohibited during hunting season, apply the washing soda in spring and summer, and stop all applications at least 30 days before your season opens. The residual mineral availability in the treated soil continues producing deer visits long after the last application because the chemistry is not a surface treatment. It is a soil-level change that persists through multiple rain events. If you have used washing soda on your property and track the results on camera, I want to hear your data. Stay until the end, because there is a second use for this product that has nothing to do with attracting deer and everything to do with the single biggest reason: mature bucks. Detect your stand before you ever see them, and the fix costs 10 cents per application. The surface understanding of mineral attractants is simple. Pour minerals on the ground. Deer need minerals. Deer come lick the ground. That understanding is correct for commercial mineral blocks that contain added calcium and phosphorus. The deer consumes minerals you place there. Washing soda works on a completely different mechanism. Sodium carbonate is not a mineral supplement in the traditional sense. It is an ion exchange agent. When it dissolves in water, either from rain or from soil moisture, the sodium ions separate from the carbonate ions. The sodium ions then displace calcium and magnesium ions that are chemically bound to clay particles through a process called cation exchange. Think of it like this. Your soil is a warehouse full of calcium and magnesium, locked in storage containers that deer cannot open. The sodium carbonate is the key that opens the containers and dumps the calcium and magnesium onto the warehouse floor, where the deer can access them. This is the exact same chemistry that makes washing soda work in laundry. Hard water contains calcium and magnesium that prevent detergent from working. The sodium carbonate displaces those ions and softens the water. In your soil, the same displacement occurs on clay particles. Calcium and magnesium ions that were locked to aluminum oxide and iron oxide compounds in acidic soil are released into the soil moisture layer when sodium carbonate is applied. The released minerals become bioavailable, meaning they dissolve in the moisture and produce volatile compounds that a deer's nose detects from 30 to 50 yards downwind, roughly the distance across a tennis court to the distance across a basketball court. I did not believe this when I first read about it on a rockslide thread 3 years ago, a cleaning product as a deer attractant. It sounded like the kind of thing somebody makes up in a forum to see who falls for it. But the chemistry was sound, and the thread had 150 replies across 2 years, with hunters in 9 states posting camera data. Enough people were confirming the results that I decided to test it myself rather than dismiss it. The soil itself becomes a mineral lick, not because you added minerals, because you freed the ones that were already there. Penn State's College of Agricultural Sciences has published extensive soil chemistry data confirming that sodium-based amendments increase cation exchange capacity and release bound calcium in clay soils. Their agricultural liming recommendations are based on this exact principle. I am applying the same chemistry to a 2-foot circle of dirt under a tree stand instead of a 200-acre farm field. A tablespoon of washing soda, roughly the amount that fits in a bottle cap, dissolved in a quart of warm water and poured onto a bare soil patch about 2 feet across, roughly the size of a truck tire, produces a measurable increase in available calcium and magnesium in the top 3 inches of the soil profile, about the depth of a coffee mug, within 24 to 48 hours. I tested this on my NW Arkansas property. That Ozark Plateau, an agricultural transition country, south of Fayetteville, where the limestone ridges drop into creek bottoms, choked with cedar, and the soil is a mix of acidic clay on the ridges and neutral limestone wash in the plateau valleys. I applied dissolved washing soda to 4 bare soil patches along a known travel corridor, each patch roughly 20 yards from a stand position, about the distance across a large living room. I ran Browning Defender cameras on all 4 treated sites and 2 untreated control patches 100 yards away, roughly 1 football field of separation on the same corridor. Over 6 weeks, from mid-August through late September, the treated sites produced a combined 47 deer visits. The untreated controls produced 11 visits over the same period. The treated sites pulled roughly 4 times the traffic. Quick pause here. Everything I just walked through, and 100 more tricks like it, is sitting inside the Buck Hunter's Bible, 2026 edition, 280 pages of the stuff that actually puts deer on the ground. And right now, if you grab it, I am throwing in the 3-0 day opening day roadmap completely free. That is a 60-page day-by-day preseason plan that walks you from the first scout to opening morning, so you start this season ahead of every other hunter in the woods. Link in the description, QR code on screen. This is the season you stop guessing. By week 4, the deer had pawed the treated soil to a depth of 2 to 3 inches, about the depth of a coffee mug, and several patches showed tongue marks in the exposed clay where deer had been licking the mineral-rich soil. I showed the camera data to my wife. She looked at the screen, looked at the box of washing soda on the counter, and said, "You have been buying mineral blocks for how many years?" I did not answer, because the math was too painful to say out loud. 15 years of commercial mineral blocks at $12 to $15 per block, 4 blocks per season across 2 properties, comes to roughly $1,440. A $4 box of washing soda? My wife has strong opinions about where that money should have gone. She is not wrong. What surprised me most in the Arkansas test was which deer visited the treated sites and when. The first 2 weeks were dominated by does and fawns. Starting in week 3, as the pre-rut ramped up in early September, the mature buck visits increased from 2 per week to 5 per week. A 3, 5, year, old, 8, point with a split brow, Tyne showed up 4 times between September 8 and September 22, always between 5:40 and 6:15 p.m. His visits were not random. He was checking the mineral site as part of a regular late afternoon circuit. That timing pattern gave me the data I needed to place a stand 18 yards from the treated patch on a wind that covered my access trail. I did not hunt that stand until October 12th. He came through at 5:52 p.m. I made the shot at 18 yards quartering away, which means the deer was angled with his hind quarter toward me and his head pointing away, giving a clear path to the vitals behind the front shoulder. That buck exists in my freezer because of a $4 box of laundry powder and 6 weeks of camera data. The commercial mineral block I had been using on the same corridor for the previous 3 seasons never produced a patternable mature buck visit. The amount matters more than most people realize, and this is where I made the mistake that nearly killed the test. My first attempt, I poured roughly a 1/4 cup of dry powder directly onto a bare soil patch without dissolving it first. The concentrated sodium carbonate raised the soil pH above 9 inches, the treated area. At that alkalinity, the beneficial bacteria that process organic matter in the soil die, and a dead zone of sterile soil does not produce the volatile mineral compounds that attract deer. The deer avoided the overtreated patch for 2 weeks until rain diluted the concentration. The dry powder also formed a visible white crust on the surface that looked unnatural and spooked a doe that walked up, looked at the white circle, and left without investigating. Dissolved application fixes both problems. The liquid soaks evenly into the soil, distributes the sodium ions across the full 2-foot circle, and leaves no visible surface residue. 1 tablespoon dissolved in 1 quart of water. That is the recipe. Do not increase it. The soil type determines the refresh schedule and the effectiveness. Clay soil has high cation exchange capacity, which means more mineral ions are bound to the clay particles and more get released when the sodium arrives. On clay soil, 1 application lasts 5 to 6 weeks because the clay holds the sodium ions in place and the exchange continues slowly over time. Sandy soil has low cation exchange capacity because sand particles have less surface area. On sandy soil, the sodium washes through faster and the mineral release is smaller and shorter. A buddy who manages a hunting lease on the coastal plain of Delaware, that flat sandy loam and hardwood transition country between Dover and Milford, where the soil is acidic from centuries of oak leaf accumulation, tested the dissolved washing soda on 3 sites across his 350-acre lease. His camera data showed 22 deer visits at treated sites compared to 8 at untreated controls in September. A smaller margin than my Arkansas clay results, but still roughly 3 to 1. He refreshed every 3 weeks on the sandy soil compared to my 5 to 6 week schedule on clay. The soil type determines the schedule. The chemistry works on both. It just works longer on clay. Where this does not work at all is on naturally alkaline soils with a pH above 7. Properties sitting on limestone bedrock, like the valley floors of the Shenandoah or the agricultural bottomlands of central Indiana, already have neutral to alkaline soil where calcium and magnesium are naturally bioavailable. Adding washing soda to soil that is already alkaline accomplishes nothing useful. It pushes the pH higher without releasing any additional minerals because the minerals were never locked up in the first place. If your soil is already neutral, skip this entirely and use a traditional attractant like molasses or salt that adds something the deer wants, rather than trying to free something that is already free. The University of Missouri Extension has published soil pH maps for most counties in the state that show exactly which areas are acidic enough to benefit from sodium-based amendments. Check your county extension office for a soil test before you pour the first application. A $15 soil test saves you from wasting time on ground that does not need the treatment. Timing of application matters almost as much as soil type. The best window is late spring through midsummer, roughly April through July, when deer are in their highest mineral demand period. Bucks are growing antlers at a rate of roughly 1/4 inch per day from March through August, and the calcium demand during peak antler growth is so extreme that bucks actually resorb calcium from their own rib bones to supplement. Dietary intake. Research from Mississippi State University's Deer Lab has documented measurable decreases in rib bone density during peak antler growth in whitetail bucks, confirming that the mineral demand is biological and urgent, not a luxury. A mineral site established with washing soda in May produces the highest visitation rates during June and July, when antler growth peaks. By September, the bucks have shifted from mineral-seeking behavior to territorial and breeding behavior, but the habit of visiting the treated site carries over into the fall because the deer have learned that the soil at that location tastes different from the surrounding ground. The spring establishment creates a behavioral pattern that persists into hunting season even after the mineral demand drops. A site established in September catches less initial traffic but still produces results because does and yearlings maintain mineral-seeking behavior year-round, and where does stop, bucks follow. Look, I am going to be straight with you. Everything I am walking through in this video is just a small piece of what is inside the Buck Hunter's Bible, 2026 edition, 280 pages, 101 field-tested tricks. And right now, you also get the 30-day opening day roadmap free with it, a 60-page day-by-day plan that gets you ready before the season even starts. I do not know how long that bonus stays in the deal, but if you have been watching these videos and thinking this could be my season, that is the move. Link in the description below, QR code on screen. Make this the year. The second use is the one I teased at the beginning, and it has nothing to do with attracting deer. Sodium carbonate, dissolved in water at a ratio of 1 tablespoon per quart, produces a solution with a pH of roughly 11 that functions as one of the most effective scent elimination sprays available at any price. The high pH oxidizes the volatile fatty acids and amino acid metabolites that a deer's 297 million olfactory receptors detect as human scent. The same ion exchange mechanism that strips calcium from clay particles strips odor-causing molecules from fabric, metal, and hard surfaces. A spray bottle of dissolved washing soda costs roughly 10 cents to prepare. Dead Downwind Field Spray costs $12 for 32 ounces. Scent Killer Gold costs $10 for 24 ounces. Scent Away BioStrike costs $14. The washing soda solution uses the same oxidation chemistry at a higher pH, which means faster contact breakdown of scent compounds at roughly 1/100th the price. I tested the washing soda scent spray against Scent Killer Gold on my Any, Tennessee property, that steep Appalachian ridge and valley country between Greenville and Irwin, where the ridges run 4,000 feet and the hollows hold thick stands of hemlock and rhododendron. I sprayed the washing soda solution on my stand platform, climbing sticks, and outer clothing layer before 4 consecutive evening sits. Then, I sprayed Scent Killer Gold on the same equipment before the next 4 sits. Same stand, same access trail, same wind patterns. On the washing soda sits, I had deer inside 30 yards, roughly the distance across a tennis court, on 3 of 4 evenings with 0 alarm responses. On the Scent Killer sits, I had deer inside 30 yards on 3 of 4 evenings, with 1 alarm from a yearling buck at 25 yards. The results were comparable. The washing soda matched the $10 product for roughly a dime. I want to explain why the high pH matters for scent elimination, because it changes how you think about the product. Most commercial scent sprays use enzymes at neutral pH to break down scent molecules over time. The process is gradual. You spray your jacket, the enzymes go to work over 15 to 30 minutes, and the scent reduction builds slowly. The washing soda solution at pH 11 uses direct chemical oxidation rather than enzymatic breakdown. The high pH attacks the molecular bonds in volatile fatty acids, specifically isovaleric acid and butyric acid, which are the primary compounds in human sweat odor, and breaks them on contact rather than over time. The scent reduction is faster. I noticed the difference when I sprayed the washing soda solution on a sweat-stained hat brim, and the smell was gone in under a minute. The Scent Killer Gold took roughly 10 to 15 minutes to achieve the same result on the same hat. Faster is better when you are spraying down in the dark at 5:30 a.m. and walking to the stand 2 minutes later. The limitation is longevity. The high pH solution works fast, but does not leave a residual enzyme coating the way commercial sprays do. If you sweat heavily during the walk-in, the fresh sweat will not be neutralized by an earlier application of washing soda the way it would be with an enzyme-based spray that continues working on new scent deposits. My solution is to carry a small 4-ounce spray bottle of the washing soda solution in my pack and reapply to high sweat areas, hat brim, collar, and wrist cuffs after I reach the stand and cool down. That second application covers the walk-in sweat and lasts through the first 3 to 4 hours of the sit. Where the washing soda spray does not work is on bare skin. The pH of 11 is too alkaline for prolonged skin contact and causes mild irritation after repeated use. Use it on gear, metal, fabric, and hard surfaces only. For hands, use hydrogen peroxide and baking soda at a lower pH, or a commercial hand spray like Dead Downwind at $8 per bottle. The third use ties the first two together, and it is the one that makes the washing soda a complete system rather than a single trick. A mock scrape, which is a patch of clear dirt about 2 feet across, with a licking branch hung 4 to 5 feet above, roughly the height of a doorframe, treated with dissolved washing soda on both the soil and the branch, produces a mineral draw from the ground and a scent-clean licking branch overhead. The mineral signal pulls bucks to investigate the soil. The scent-clean branch ensures that human odor from installation does not contaminate the site. I built 6 mock scrapes on my Arkansas property in early October. 3 were treated with dissolved washing soda on both the soil and the licking branch. 3 were untreated controls installed with rubber gloves, but no chemical treatment. Over 4 weeks, the treated scrapes produced 14 buck investigations on camera. The untreated controls produced 7. The treated scrapes combined both a mineral attract and a scent elimination function that you would normally achieve by purchasing a $15 mineral product and a $10 scent spray separately. The washing soda did both jobs for roughly 15 cents per scrape. The cost comparison over a career is the number that changed my thinking permanently. A hunter who buys commercial mineral attractant and commercial scent spray across a 20-year career at an average of $120 per season on minerals and $40 per season on scent spray spends roughly $3,200. The same hunter using washing soda for both applications spends roughly $40 over 20 years. The savings of $3,160 covers a Matthews Phase 4 bow at $1,200 and a Vortex Diamondback HD binoculars at $230 and still leaves enough for a decent set of Hawk Helium climbing sticks at $300. Think about that number for a second. $3,160 in savings from a $4 box in the laundry aisle. If you have tested washing soda as a mineral treatment or scent spray, and your results contradict mine, leave your data below. Next time, we are covering the 5 soil types that predict where mature bucks bed on any property without a camera or a boot print in the bedding area. 1 box, 2 uses, 30 applications. The deer on the camera did not care whether the minerals came from a $22 bag with a deer on the label or a $4 box with a hammer on it. They knew the soil tasted like calcium and the tree did not smell like a human. The guys who figure that out fill their tags. The guys who keep paying for the label keep paying for the label. A $4 box. 3 uses, 30 applications. And if somebody at deer camp tells you it sounds too good to be true, hand them the box and tell them to read the ingredient. Sodium carbonate. The same compound that agricultural operations use to condition soil on thousands of acres across the Midwest. The only difference between their application and yours is scale. They treat 200 acres with a spreader truck. You treat a 2-foot circle with a quart of water and a tablespoon. The chemistry does not care about the scale. It works the same at both.